It's a post-lunch and little postponed session. I hope that is an example of disruption and the change is constant all the time. So we are kickstarting this learning in the times of disruption, which is a very important topic because, as you know, the times of disruption like pandemic, which we faced during the COVID, digital transformation like AI, which we had a beautiful session, and probably economical shift. But the constant thing which will always be there is education and the uplifting of the skills. I think I have a fantastic panelists who have done this during the times of disruption and they are continuing to do this. So I think I would want to welcome all of my fantastic panelists for this wonderful discussion. Thank you, everyone. I'm going with a very quick intro so that you will understand why they are here. I will start with Dr. Sunil Abroal. He carries almost 4 decades of experience and is a founder of NOC and Skills. And he has got a very rich experience of actually uplifting and the skill employment. And I have Dr. Jatin, who is, I think, pioneer in the first Metaverse Center. And he has impacted almost roughly around 3 million people. And the most important thing, he is gender inclusive. Almost 50% of women have been uplifted by him. Probably a big round of applause for my panelist. Thank you. And I have Mr. Mahesh, who has been head of skills at JSW Foundation, who is doing a fantastic job for specially abled kids and also rural communities. And I have a last addition, Mr. Vikram, but it's a fantastic value-added addition. So he has been a public policy advisor, and once again, women enforcement is something which he's looking at. So I'm going to go about few rounds, provided keeping the time in frame. So I would start with Dr. Jatin. Sir, I know that probably we would deal first with how did they manage the disruption, especially because I have seen his work in the remotest of the place, which is very difficult to find even in the maps. I'm not sure, how did you figure out during the COVID, especially the basic things like electricity and the digital access is something which I'm interested to know.
See, we had to accept that there is a disruption. We had to accept that there are limitations among youth on how to learn. All the educational institutions were closed down during COVID.
Yes.
We were forced to stop physical activities. Now, when we realized that there is a limitation of physical activities, the option left is digital, yes, which can be converted into phygital later on. So we thought it's blessings in disguise. Let us go digital. So we started looking at it. Learning management system, having e-learning. This is not a new concept in India. A lot of organizations are using e-learning material. A lot of organizations are developing e-content. But the point is how to reach those youth wherein the content is available right at their fingertips and still make them employable. So we started creating content in a way that is available on mobile. They learn something on mobile. We place the content on our LMS and provided them the link they can use offline as well, at their own time, at their own pace. And that also should be interactive. Now the question was how to assess them. So if you want to have the assessment on skill, I mean, this is not an examination wherein somebody has learned and write the paper and get passed. So they have to undergo some practices, and after the practice, they have to show the results and impact that they have learned some specific skills. For example, electrician. For example, welding. If you are an electrician, you have to show that you can do the wiring, domestic electrical wiring, for example, 2-bedroom hall kitchen. So how do you do that? So we created, actually, we first looked for such kind of simulators if that is available across the globe, anywhere in the world. We could not find. So what we did, we created a simulator for 2-bedroom hall kitchen for a domestic electrical wiring, where student can learn on their own computer at their own pace on how to connect from meter to the switchboard and run the machine. Switch on the light, switch on the fan. So entire electricity fixing on a digital mode saves time, saves cost, and that too keeping safety in mind. This probably would not have been done if there was no disruption. Otherwise, we would have continued the same offline model. Yeah. But this helped us. So we thought is that blessings in disguise, We created this model and then realized there are a lot of other programs wherein such kind of digital intervention can leverage the quality of learning, but still we can reach to the remotest village of the country. And we reached about 10,000 youth in those 5 months at the time of lockdown. And we made them employable. The moment the lockdown was lifted, we made them employable and then connected with the industries, and they all started generating sustainable livelihoods. So disruption helped. Disruption provided us an opportunity to innovate. With saying, no, innovation, necessity is mother of invention. So that was a necessity, and we innovated such kind of products.
Fantastic, Dr. Jatin, because I think I like the two things, running at their own pace and working offline. I think that is two interesting things, and also employable. I think that is the cherry on the cake.
So objective was to make them employable and provide them the opportunity for the sustainable livelihood.
Fantastic job. Thank you so much. Dr. Sunil, you have got almost 4 decades of experience, and you've been part of awarding bodies. How did you make sure that all the learners remain competent during the times of disruption? Because it's very difficult to hold the interest during, especially like periods like COVID, where people were isolated. How did you make sure that the learners were competent enough globally after they get these certifications, and how did you manage those disruptions?
Thank you, Dr. Soumya. I represent NOCN, which is a UK awarding body, a body which basically certifies people for international levels. Our objective in the Indian context has been very focused and specific. Prime Minister Modi has talked about Indian manpower to become global manpower, Indian manpower to actually go abroad and work for foreign countries. There is a special focus by Ministry of Skill Development in terms of international mobility. The state of Karnataka also has taken up a similar initiative in terms of migration of people from Karnataka to overseas. NOCN as an awarding body and a certifying body is actually helping that process. What we do is we upskill Indian qualifications and Indian students to international qualifications. We have done that in the last 5 years, and the process basically has 2 components. One component is related to upgrading Indian qualifications to international qualifications, where students, while they are doing their diploma or degree programs or ITI programs, can take on add-on units. And those add-on units are basically based on a benchmarking exercise between the international qualifications and Indian qualifications. So the students have to do a top-up module, which is maybe about 20% of the total program that one would have to do. And in that process, while doing their own qualifications, say ITI or degree or a diploma, in the final year, the last 2 semesters, the student can undertake these additional units. And with these 2 additional units, he gets 2 qualifications. One qualification which is offered by the state government or by the institute which he or she is attending, and the second qualification which comes from UK. And mind it, this UK qualification is not offered by a private institution. It's a off-call qualification which is regulated by the UK government. So a UK government qualification is available to the student at 1/10 the cost and 1/4 or 1/5 the time that he or she spends in taking a diploma program. So that is helping students to get international qualifications concurrently along with their local qualifications in terms of ITIs or diplomas or degrees. This is one model. Second model is where people can take international qualifications online. NOCN offers about 800 qualifications across sectors, across disciplines. These short courses can be offered online and they can also be taken on classroom mode model. And these qualifications are in areas which are futuristic in nature. Qualifications in areas where Indian curriculum is not as competent as international standards. And therefore, these short courses add value to the employability of the students. I can only give you an anecdote on this. I remember when I was hiring people 3 decades back, even from IITs and premier regional engineering colleges, the only factor which was important for us to hire people was the add-on which the students would have done. Because in IITs, people having CGPA of 9.8, 9.81 or 9.82 doesn't differentiate the caliber of the student. And there, what we were looking at is if some student at that point of time, I'm talking about 1985, 1986, at that point of time, students were doing short courses, 2 weeks program on C++. Any student who had done C++ will become more employable than his other colleagues, even if they had 0.1 or 0.2 more CGPA. Point I'm making here is that students who can have extra skills will become more employable as compared to their colleagues. Second area that we are doing, Dr. Soumya, is also making people employable with English-speaking skills. So we have an online English program, ESOL. Now this program basically assessments and testing of the students at different levels, A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, which are the international standards. And this English language learning and assessment is available online, which means students anywhere can learn and get assessed and get certified. They don't have to go to a center, they don't have to go to an institute, or they don't have to go to any testing place for getting the assessment done. So these 2 areas have actually helped us to help the international mobility of the students. So our focus of NOCN is primarily international mobility.
I think that's a fantastic idea, because adding 1 or 2 points, 1 or 2 additional qualifications will make the recruiters look at them. I think that's a fantastic one, and I really like the idea of add-on units, because they get the dual degrees, just like you hold the dual PhDs. Probably that is where it came from. Thank you so much. Yes, Mr. Mahesh, I'm really happy for the work you're doing, especially for the specially abled kids. You mentioned to me from grade 1 to grade 10, and also the core rural communities. During the areas of disruption, how did you maintain this continuity of education and the uplifting of the skills? So if you could throw a light on that.
Thank you, Soumya. And first of all, thank you for the people of Karnataka, people of Bengaluru, and the leaders here and the dignitaries here. It's an opportunity for me to be here. I'll be very practical that, I'm sure that most of us are here since the 4th, 5th, and the 6th. And everyone, once they leave the room, they would want to have some kind of a takeaway, some kind of a learning, and that's the reason even I'm here. So I will link that to our beneficiaries. I think the most important stakeholders of our program are our beneficiaries. And one thing that we are looking at bringing about is a change. Now, as a beneficiary, I'll tell you, when they come to our centers, and their thinking has also changed. I'm not even thinking about AI at this moment. So when they come to our centers, I'm sure there are so many NGOs that are working here. There are so many other corporates working here, and I would like to thank Reddy sir for the open CSR forum that we had in the morning. And the beneficiaries would want to know is that once the training is done, what is going to be my salary? And what is the kind of package that I will receive? So the intent is to put the food on the table. If the student is going to get 8 or 10,000 salary after training, I don't think so that's the right kind of training that we are doing. So at Vijayanagar, which is JSW Foundation that we have, which is just 4 or 5 hours away from here, we've built an ecosystem. We cannot have a school, we cannot have a college, we cannot have a training center if we do not have an early detection and an intervention center. So if you're working for the differently abled, we have a center that caters to kids from 0 to 6, where we identify the kind of disability that is there. So which means from 0 to 6, the kids are coming to your school. From 6 to grade 10, they are with you in the school called the Tamanna school. Now this is for the abled and also for the differently abled. Now what happens after the grade 10? Then you have the higher education program with us. After higher education program, you definitely want to give them a skill. So then they are with the JSW Foundation training centers, where we have introduced different kind of trades, like a light motor vehicle training, maybe a heavy motor vehicle training, with a simulation. What we realize is that the beneficiaries on the ground are no longer interested in a retail or a logistic kind of a training that's going to fetch them 8 or 10,000 salary. So the approach what we took is like a life cycle approach, where we are catering for the abled and also for the differently abled. The differently abled that we have with multi-disability, like I'll give you in terms of disruption. A disruption is an opportunity. So even during COVID, or during the disruption that we are talking about, we have a huge factory where we have uniforms being made. The uniforms, and we asked the women in our community to make those uniforms for us. Once the uniforms are made, you definitely have to iron them. So then we asked the women to do it for us. And then once the ironing is done, it has to be packaged. And that's where we asked our students who are from different kind of disability to come and help us with this. But then they were paid for it. So that's where we try to create an ecosystem. So we kept it very simple to cater to our community.
That's really fantastic. What I liked was the life cycle approach and a decent earning. I think especially for I would like to call them specially abled rather than differently abled, because those are the people who actually teach us a lot in a lot of different ways. And I'm really happy for the work you're doing. And I think that's the best part. They are not only skilled, they get a decent money which they can take home. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Mr. Vikram, as I can see, you are a head of corporate and government affairs. So what is the one challenge which you faced during disruption and how did you overcome?
Doctor, thank you very much for having me here. And it's a great audience, and really my wishes to the eminent people sitting on the dais as well. During the disruption, the challenge we faced, not exactly the disruption happened, but after the disruption. The COVID literally made our machines smarter. So till that point in time, the training what we were imparting to our trainees who were potentially be employed in the lines, it was a conventional machines with a pen and paper intervention, and there is a classroom board and lecturer or trainer kind of interaction was there. But the COVID necessitated some of the machines where IoT was introduced in the machines itself. So the machines started speaking. Like the machines were giving you its efficiency. It was telling us what is the productivity that you can take from the machines and everything. But the manpower which was trained was not on the IoT machines, but on a conventional machines. So the challenge was how to train my existing manpower with that IoT machines. So we had to quickly, and then there is a sense of acceptability amongst people who are already trained, because we have already employed them, they are taking a decent salary. Now we are telling them, hey, look, there is something you have to learn. The moment we say learn, there is a sense of insecurity that sets in. So we have to address the insecurity. Secondly, we also have a challenge of not affecting the productivity, and at the same time improve it as well. So we devised a very nice interactive tab kind of thing on every machines, so that they don't want to learn an entire software thing, because their education primarily is of 8th pass, 9th pass. They are not from a higher education background. So all they have to do is switch on the machine. Every operation that they do, they have to click a particular tab. So we just told them what is that tab that they have to press. So slowly this acceptance came in. Okay, this is not going to affect me. So the moment I click, it was making their lives also easier, because they were able to count how many pieces they were doing on the machine. It was helping them as well. So we were paying them better incentives. So we are telling them, okay, this particular machine is giving this much of efficiency, and you are the person responsible for it. Okay, please take it. So this kind of, and we were also happy in any manufacturing setup, if your efficiency is more, we'll be happy being a hardcore manufacturer. That's what our bread and butter is. So this IoT really was a challenge initially. Then our trainees accepted that. So now all our beneficiaries who invariably come into our training center are put through this training program, not just training them how to work on the machine, but also on the IoT part. What is efficiency? What is productivity? If you don't work on this particular time, what effect will have on the overall production? This kind of knowledge is being imparted along with their technical skills. So this has been newly taught to all our trainees. Yes, they are also better equipped. Who were only, for example, if it's a single needle lock stitch machine, you train on that machine, you're called as a sewing machine operator. Now the sewing machine operator is smarter operator. He is talking about productivity. He is talking about efficiency. That is what the change, and we have adapted to that extent, Dr. Soumya.
Perfect. I think change is always constant, but I think adaptability is something which has to be persistent. And if it goes gel with the probably efficiency, I think nothing like that. Because being a doctor, I know when AI came in, we did a lot of testing, how can they replace us? Because especially for the doctors, we come with a very orthodox opinion that no machines, no matter what, nobody can replace us. But over the period, it is very clear that it can only assist humans. So coming back to, thank you for answering my first round where we addressed how did you manage the disruptions. Now let's talk about how did you reinforce your innovations. Starting from Dr. Jatin, because I really like your concept of working at your own pace, learning at your own pace. How do you make sure that they are employable? Is it at their own pace, or you make sure that they get the jobs quicker and a better pay?
Again, the technology plays a pivotal role here. The access to the content which we have provided is time limited. As the courses need to be completed on time, it's time limited. That is number one. Secondly, all the progress, what they are using on the technology, that we are monitoring continuously, that what is being progressed, where are they stuck, and then there are trainers to help them. As far as assessment is concerned, we have made simulators to test whether they have understood the concept or not. So, see, technology plays that pivotal role in development of human index. This is what we have already seen in all the domains. Even just before this panel, there were some discussions on AI, how it is changing the life, that this is what we are actually using in our LMS, that AI is changing the way we are learning, and we identified the gaps that if we want to make them employable, we need to understand what industries are looking at as far as skills are concerned. So we have to integrate those skills into our content. I am just talking about the online programs we had at the time of disruption. Of course, the physical programs or a phygital program, we have a lot of opportunities to provide that practices. But when the physical practice is not possible and the digital is the only mode, then we'll have to think in a different way. And that's where we started the concept of metaverse, skill center in metaverse. So we launched world's first, and even today it's the only skill center in metaverse wherein we have multiple skills, wherein they learn multiple skills, they practice, they make more practice and practices, gain some points, as we have made the gamification of that, they acquire those points, and these points can be converted into one more physical training program at any of the skill centers we have. So they get the opportunity to learn digitally, they gain points, and get an access to learn something offline at any of the 56 skill centers we have in India. So this is how we leverage technology, provided them the opportunity to learn, and made sure they are employable and crack the interview about what the industries are looking at.
Fantastic. I think the point scoring system is something very interesting, isn't it? Because we always run for the offers, deals, points. So I think that makes their life interesting because I'm getting something out of learning. So you mean to say that you're making them learn at a pace, but of course they are monitored and of course they are grilled in a very different way. That is really fantastic.
So the team who is there in the head office is monitoring, and then if there is somebody stuck up, there will be a call. Where are you stuck up? There is a trainer to support them.
Fantastic. That's a very holistic approach. Thank you, Dr. Jatin. Dr. Sunil, I know you love green skills, and that is the, I think, trending one. So including the green skills like the solar energy, let it be anything. So how do you think our employability gets changed if we include the green skills in all our curriculums, or probably your certifications? How do you think that is going to change the employability in future?
Yeah. Dr. Samya, as I mentioned earlier, people have to have add-on in addition to their basic qualifications. I gave that example of engineering students doing C++. The same is true for students today. For students to become employable, they have to look at the industries where the markets are, where the demand would be. Green skills are becoming more critical today. And when we are looking at green skills, let's look at the kind of businesses or the job roles that will become more in demand. One, construction sector. In construction sector, green skills have very important contribution, making buildings energy efficient. Energy efficiency would mean in terms of power consumption, in terms of water consumption, in terms of the environment, everything all put together. So all our people who are working today in construction sector, electricians, carpenters, masons, all of them need to have knowledge about green skills in terms of the kind of materials that they use, the kind of technologies that are available. And that's where NOCN plays a very important role, that we have qualifications where people can attend those qualifications and become more employable. Similarly, if you look at other areas like sustainability, hydrogen, EV, electric vehicles, all these are areas of demand or futuristic areas. And we offer courses which are available online as well as in physical mode, where students can upgrade themselves or employees can upgrade themselves in terms of those kind of job roles which we call as green job roles. They become eligible for employability in these markets which are coming up in future. That's the point.
Yeah, Dr. Sunil, I think that is the fantastic idea, because green skills is going to be the future. So if you take it in Delhi, for example, a state as such, they want to make it like 100% electric vehicles in the coming years. So I think that is a very big area of uplifting their skills and employability. Thank you so much. Mr. Mahesh, I'm always very interested to know about this fact, because language has always been a barrier for a lot of people, especially in the rural communities. So if you take in Karnataka, because I worked in a very rural areas where the nurses, they can express themselves beautifully in Kannada, but the moment you ask them to tell the same thing in English, they are done. So how are you managing this language barrier, especially with the English languages, especially in the rural communities? If you could cite an example, that would be really great.
So again, I'll be very practical. We have a nursing college in Torangolu, which is near Hospet. And we did not need any kind of an assessment to be done from outside. We know our students, we know our community. So we did a very basic assessment to understand in English and in German. And I will share that, which is very internal, but then only 5% of our students were able to clear basic English. Okay. And they were nursing graduates. Okay. So what we realized is that there were around 250 or 300 students since 2012 that cleared the graduation from our nursing college. And out of which 70% of them were working in different hospitals with a salary of 8,000 to 12,000. And the main concern was in terms of English as a language. So we introduced, we tied up with a partner for Cambridge English, and we introduced English as a language for the nursing students. That's one level that we did with, and we are talking with NHS UK for it. At the second level, what we did is that we introduced German as a language. We did a basic assessment, and 90 students were registered for this course, and they were all girls. And so we are introducing A1, A2, B1, B2 for these kids here. And we are doing A1, A2 in Bangalore, B1, B2 in Mysore. So it's an academic intervention, but we are not leaving the students there. What we're doing is that we've tied up with an organization which is European-based called Charcos, that would then take them to Europe with an initial offer letter of 1.5 lakhs per month. I'm not saying that we've already done it. It's just an initiative that we've thought. Maybe everyone would not clear, because the passing rate is around 60 or 70%. with language, what we realize is that German has around 60% is what students clear, and with Japanese it's around 10%. So we thought about doing German. So we introduced language as a skilling apart from nursing is what is working for us. So that's why I feel is that we should have more collaboration with the students and make them, there is a program called the Global Mobility Program, where, I just saw at the exhibition center here, there were 5 kiosks which talked about German and Japanese language, and they were looking for students abroad. Yeah. So the requirement is there, and then those kiosks were the completely empty ones. So basically, we were not able to create that, that supply, and the demand is there. Yeah. So that's where we need to look at. With with the kind of students that we have in our community, we cannot introduce AI all the time for them because we understand how it works. But language at the age of 14 to 21 for them would be easier. If you ask me to learn Japanese tomorrow, I will not be able to do it. But our kids will be able to do it faster. And that's what we realize is working for us.
Yeah. I'm not sure whether I should be saying this because Patil sir is here. I think he deserves a big round of applause because he's going to create a language labs for all the nurses and the health professionals. Thank you, Patil sir, for all that you do and the fantastic KSDC team behind it. So because the topic came and I couldn't control myself, thank you so much, Patil sir. Now, coming to Mr. Vikram. So because I know you have done a lot of transformation in the women empowerment, I would want to know what is the one thing, one example where you have changed a life of even a single employee. I would really love to listen because being a woman, I know the challenges at the different phases we come up with, and we are quite different from the way you think and quite different challenges what we face. So how do you think you have managed those things for the women?
There are many examples, so that really keeps us going forward. So it propels us to do more as well. So primarily, apparel sector is one sector which employs 80% of workforce as women. Whether you are a 5th pass, you have a job. Okay. Whether you are 10th pass, you still have a job. You are a graduate, yeah, our doors are open.
I think the women should be clapping because he's saying from 5th onwards, everybody gets a job.
Every woman, even a woman who's a housewife who thinks, okay, she wants to do something in the apparel sector, the doors are open. So apparel sector is such sector which will give you a lot of opportunity and will work with you as you work and take you forward. The sector will grow and you will also grow as well. If you are a NIFT pass out with aptitude for design and you want to do something in the sector, yes, our doors are open. So designers are doing fantastic job in the apparel sector. So right from fiber to fashion, we are there. So the primary objective was we have certain set of people from Bagalkot. So Bagalkot is in the northern part of Karnataka, and some women primarily have never ventured out of their villages. They are very docile. They have seen only their circle and everything. Suddenly, when the company met them, when we told them, this is what we are going to give you the opportunity, this is what we are going to give you free training. Not everybody accepted with open mind because Bangalore is far to Bagalkot. We told them we'll take care of you. We'll give you free training. We'll give you industry required training. And at the same time, company will take care of your livelihood. Salary will be very exceptionally good salary will take care. Everything was told. And then around 25 women voluntarily came out. They accepted, who were not even telling what is your name. They were not coming out to say even their name. Today, we gave them training. They are working with us. They came in as sewing machine operators at the entry level. Today, they are at the line manager level in our factories.
That's fantastic.
So, the way they elevated, the way they progressed, really boosted our morale as well. Because it was telling us whether we are doing the right job, whether are we doing any mistake, because we are approaching the society, we are approaching the villages where they have never opened up to a city like Bangalore. So we are giving them a lot of assurances. Initial discussion is always about assurances. So those women trusted us. We lived up to your expectations. They learned. They were very eager to learn. They learned so fast. Their eye-hand coordination was very good. So for the first time, they're seeing a huge facility. They're seeing so many people in one place. It's a shop floor.
Yes.
So there is safety measures that you have to follow. And then there is every rules you have to follow within the gate. So they were quickly able to adapt it. And they are like any other 20,000 employees who are already working with us. The moment we see them, it gives a sense of pride, honestly. Yes, we have done something good. So the success stories are plenty, Doctor. So this is one such thing. And adding to that, Karnataka is the best place for you to do apparel business at this point in time. It is our experience. You have exceptional place for you to start up a garment industry. You have huge manpower availability. You have exceptional policy that is coming up. And you have major brands. Somebody should give you orders.
Yes.
Only then you can manufacture. There are major brands, they have put up their shop in Bengaluru. Where else? So if you don't intend to invest in Karnataka now, where will you go? So on that humble note, that's what I would like to share our experience to.
That's really fantastic because women empowerment, wherever it happens, you are bound to grow. And as you speak of Karnataka, I think, of course, I'm being a Kannadiga, I'm very, very proud. We always welcome everyone with open arms, non-judgmental. We are always there to support everyone. Thank you so much. And I think one common question for all of you, probably I'll start from Mr. Vikram. What is the one skill you think which makes the future kids employable? Only one skill if you want to name.
I will only stick to my sector. So along with technical skills, their technology skill is also important. Currently, we are only imparting them pure technical skills. That is not enough because machines are getting smarter. So tomorrow they will speak, I don't know. So the earlier tech giants were talking. So along with pure technology skills, IoT skills is also very important. That is an add-on for every future prospective student.
Fantastic. Thank you. Mr. Mahesh?
For me, for sure, I'll be a little biased here because for me, it's the community of Karnataka, which is in rural parts of Karnataka. It will be entrepreneurship skills. So I will talk about in very short 2 minutes about what we are doing, the program that we've implemented. We identified one ITI, which is in Sandur, and that's for everyone to visit. And we are coming up with a technical center, which is an entrepreneurship center for electricians, where we are tying up with Schneider. We are getting the entire infrastructure from Schneider. We are starting a house wiring and industrial wiring for our students in the community. We know that once we train them, we are not being able to place them. We know that. So we are doing an entrepreneurship program where we've implemented this program from China, where China, every place, what they're doing is that they're making every rural location self-sufficient. In case tomorrow you have to make an umbrella, there's only one place that you can go and you can get all the things from that place, whether it's a rod, or whether it's a wire, whether it's that material there. So maybe tomorrow when we talk about switches, we do something there. We say the switches come from Hospet, switches come from Bellary. So that's what we are initially thinking about and making these students from IIT Sandur, ITI Sandur, as entrepreneurs in terms of electrician.
Perfect. Thank you. Dr. Sunil?
Yes, Dr. Samya, I would like to support the same. Entrepreneurship skill is something which is applicable not only for setting up your startups or your own business, but entrepreneurship skills are also relevant for implementation on the job. And therefore, I would recommend that all the students or fresh learners should primarily focus on entrepreneurship as a skill which will help them not only in the jobs but also in terms of setting up businesses.
Thank you so much. Dr. Jatin?
Not only students or youngsters, I would say every individual on the earth, one thing I would suggest is to learn how to learn.
Exactly.
So that covers everything in entire life.
Thank you. I think that's beautiful. Learn, be there at the right place at the right time in the right frame of mind. Let India thrive and survive and excel in all times of disruption as we have been. Thank you so much for the fantastic panelists you have given a lot of insights. I'm sure our audience would have enjoyed. Thank you so much.